My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast, the everyday real estate investor show. And my name is Bryce Kaminsky. I'm filling in for Dave Dubeau. And if you've ever wondered how a first-time landlord transformed a foreclosure property into a thriving real estate portfolio, well, today, Charles Vergara shares his secrets behind his success from house hacking to scaling up. Charles, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hey, Bryce. Thanks so much for having me here.
So you're zooming in from Chicago today.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How's the weather there today?
It's actually pretty nice this time of the year. We're about like mid 50s, lower 60s. So
yeah, it sounds like the Windy City. So real estate, it's always got an origin story, usually something to do with Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How did you get started? Where does that seed get planted in your history?
So I actually have no idea real estate, never dabbled with it. My first exposure with it is actually from my brother JR, and he started 2016, and since then I was just kind of attending meetups, listening to podcasts. Bigger Pockets is one of the big ones, and it didn't take me until about 2018. So I'm just like, you know what, maybe I'll pull the trigger. I just graduated college. I had some money saved up. I want to put that somewhere because I always know that I need to invest money, but I had no idea that real estate was the way to go. So got my start 2018. Bought my first one. It was a 3-flat, and that was the foreclosure one. It's actually a home path property. So since it was going to be owner occupied, I planned to live in one and rent out the other. It was rough though, because since it was a foreclosure, I had to put a lot of work in the basement. The first floor, thank God, was serviceable, just some cosmetic stuff, some painting, changing the hardware on the cabinets, and was able to rent that out. And I was probably out of pocket, probably like a couple $100. So I was house hacking at that point. And as soon as I received that first check for rent, it was like a light bulb moment for me. And I said, what if I have more of this? What if I keep doing it? So then actually, I didn't have much capital. I was just starting off with my W-2 job. And I had to apply for a personal loan. And that was probably like 30K at the time. And fixed up the basement, and I had some work to be done because I was living in the second floor. So there was some work to be done there as well. After that, refinanced the house, and then just kind of rinse and repeat. I bought a 4-flat in Berwyn, and that one is a cash cow. So just been collecting cash flow ever since. So.
Yeah. I really love the scalability of real estate. You have that light bulb moment. You're like, okay, I could flip one house, but what about if I raise some capital and I could flip 2 at a time, or 3 or 5 at a time? Or what if I could get some investors and, acquire 10, or even, really with the scalability, could I acquire 100 units this year? If you're so motivated, yeah, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that you've been in, how long have you been in real estate now? A couple of years?
5 years now. Yeah, since 2018.
So what does the portfolio look like now after your first house hack? You still own that property?
Yes, so I have 7 doors in total, 2 buildings. It's a 3-flat and a 4-flat, one in Cicero and one in Berwyn area.
Yeah. And these are the suburbs in Chicago, right?
Correct. Yes. So about 15-20 minutes away from the city.
And so just to give people who are maybe in the Chicago area or thinking about investing in Chicago, what are the numbers like on those properties, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I mean, it's very strong. Obviously, it is stronger once you get closer to the city. Yeah. But it's the suburbs that I'm in. It's a blue collar community. The rents are strong. It's very competitive, and the appreciation is really good as well, because we're not too far from the city. We're also not too close, so we're just kind of in that perfect middle ground. So it's a good suburbs to be in.
So how much is it costing you, and how much are you getting in rent?
So right now my total cash flow is around 4,300. and oh no, I'm sorry, not cash flow, but like total rents about 4,300, and I'm cash flowing probably like $800 off of that.
Hmm.
And that's just because I'm really just trying to save capital to scale for the next one.
Yeah.
Um, and like for reserves, capital expenses, maintenance, and all that stuff. So just kind of like putting it back to the buildings, and yeah, like I said, just trying to go for the next one.
Yeah, because a lot of people will fall into the trap early on of like living on that cash flow, but
Right.
all it takes is a furnace or a hot water tank or a
Oh
roof,
yeah.
and now you're going back to the bank to get another 20, 30K. So, as a realtor, how does that impact your investing?
It's really cool because I get the best of both worlds, and I can find deals for myself. Now that because I got my real estate license in 2021, so about 2 to 3 years in, and now that I know how to run numbers, now that I know what to look for, I could actually just kind of like eliminate the middleman. Instead of me like reaching out to an agent like, hey, I want to see this property, I want to see this. I was able to just kind of like go into the MLS and check out the properties for myself, schedule the showings for myself, like as soon as it's available, right? So like I don't have to work in someone else's time.
Hmm.
And that really allowed me to kind of like to underwrite more deals, underwrite more houses, like on my own time, and more like and quicker too. And also allowed me to explore other markets outside of like my buy box, which is like Cicero, Berwyn, Oak Park,
Yeah.
just kind of like surrounding suburbs. So
So what does the future look like? Or rather, we're in, let's talk about in the present. You're saving capital and raising capital, or what does that look like for your next purchase?
so I definitely want to dive in commercial units. It's maybe like 5 to 8.
Yeah.
Anything more is probably going to be too overwhelming for me. But yeah, definitely want to dive into commercial units. I also wouldn't mind like maybe 2 to 4.
Hmm.
Like I said, I really just want to. It's hard to find a cash flowing property right now. You have to be really creative. But
Yeah.
like I said, I want to explore other markets as well outside of my buy box, and yeah, just saving as much capital as I could, because right now, if I'm not finding deals, at the very least, I want to save as much capital as I can when like a disaster hits. Like I said, like if a furnace or a roof, because yeah, I mean here in Chicago too, we've had like crazy weather. We just got like Cicero and Berwyn actually just got approved as a disaster area by FEMA, because we had like this big flood beginning of the summer. I think it was July 2nd. Like everybody's basement was flooded.
Yeah,
So
I heard.
yeah, that was an expense that I definitely wasn't expecting. So yeah, at the very least, I want to save as much capital as I can. And if a deal comes up, definitely I'm all for it. So
Yeah, the deals, there'll be deals. There's always deals. It's just a matter of being ready with the capital. So how are you preparing capital wise to acquire the next deal?
So yeah, I mean obviously your regular savings account, right? And then
Hmm.
every cash flow, I have a separate like real estate account for that. And
Hmm.
I have a certain percentage that goes into capex. I have a certain percentage that goes into maintenance. I have a certain account that goes to just reserves, just for
Hmm.
like, and then the most important thing is having a separate account for security deposits, because
Yeah.
like with your tenants, and they go like in and out, especially with like uncertainties right now in this economy, right? So I always want to make sure that I'm not over leveraging myself, because
Yeah.
the last thing that I want to happen is that I have like 2 to 3, because I only have 7 doors, right? So like
Right.
if like 2 to 3 of my tenants decide like, hey, you know what, I need to look for something else, I had to obviously do my due diligence, and possibly return the security deposit, right? Bearing like any issues, like
Hmm.
like that's the with the units and stuff, right? So I always want to make sure that I'm not underwater, and that I have enough capital to kind of like cover all of like those blind spots. So
Yeah. So you're self-managing the property still, yeah?
correct, yes.
Okay. And so some people go to property management simply because they're, maybe too busy or they just really don't want to deal with the tenants in the toilets. Have you found it to be an advantage to self-manage, or are you looking to you maybe move in the direction of finding managers as you grow your portfolio?
Yeah, I mean, eventually my goal is to have to work with a property management. I think right now, since like my portfolio is small,
Yeah.
I could still and like I said, like I live in Berwyn as well. My buildings are only about like 5 to 10 minutes away.
Mhm.
So like I self-manage them like to an extent, right?
Right.
Like sometimes I would get a phone call at 10 p.m. at night, and they say that there's no electricity, and I will tell them like, I've contacted ComEd or whatever
Yeah.
their service company is, and there's no problem. But long story short, it was just a trip, like it was just a trip circuit breaker.
Yeah. So you
Um,
had to go down there and
yeah, so I had
find
to
the
go on there,
breaker.
just like flip a switch, and it's very annoying for me. But again, like this is what I signed up for. I'm a landlord, and like yes, I could have been like, I could probably just take this up to the morning, and then make the drive down there, like when there's light out. But again, it's the middle of the summer. They only have window units, so and they had a newborn. So I kind
Yeah.
of just like took all of those in mind and be like, well, I don't want them to like to spend the night like on a 90-degree weather. Like it was probably like 80, like 75 in the unit, but
Yeah.
again, it was like warm weather all in all. So like I that's probably like a weakness of mine, because like I still have like a soft, like I'm still kind of like soft in heart. It's kind of like doing
Yeah.
that for my tenants, but like, again, this is what I signed up for, and it was just like 5 minute drive. And um I'm glad, like they were very thankful that I was able to do
Yeah.
that for them. And at the end of the day, I'm just glad that it wasn't like something bigger, right? So
Well, sometimes people forget the fact that, we're providing a service, we're providing a
right,
product, which is the rental. So you got to service your customers. Essentially, it's like a long-term hotel stay because they don't
exactly.
own it, and expecting them to know how to like manage the electricity would be great. Sometimes you get a
Mhm.
tenant that is a little handier or understands, oh, it's just a breaker. But we sometimes have to go down there and flip a switch for these people that allow them to continue to enjoy the unit. So um, talk about, because you'd mentioned 2 or 3 units might come vacant. What's your philosophy behind placing tenants?
So I have like I go to this website. It's just a standard background check that we run for any applicants that are like 18 or over, and
Hmm.
basically just checks like their eviction history. Like
Hmm.
absolutely no evictions for any of my rental units. Also checks their credit score, and also checks like their like past residents and all that stuff, and
Hmm.
basically just how financially responsible they are, right? And I
Yeah.
like to think that I'm a good judge of character. And I've obviously learned my lessons, like like kind of just like starting out, I have like those like a couple bad apples along the way, but it's getting better as far as like screening tenants. And again, you really just, especially since I'm self-managing all of my buildings, I really had to be like a good judge of character. And just like pandemic happened, and I was fortunate enough to like not have to go through like any evictions and stuff. I just had to communicate with all of my tenants that like, hey, if you're gonna be late, that's fine. Let's just keep like an avenue and like an open communication throughout, and I'll help you out as much as I can, because like everyone's going through it, right? Like I'm going through it as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just screening tenants, and yeah, like I said, you'll run into like a few bad apples along the way, but it's not about kind of like dwelling on those mistakes, but it's just kind of like keep pushing forward and kind of just
Mhm.
like learning your mistakes along the way.
So, when it comes to deal and like putting deals together, are you a find the deal first and raise the money second, or do you prefer to have your money ready to go and then go shopping for a deal?
I definitely want to have like my money ready to go before shopping for a deal, because like I said, I'm like an overthinker. Like I
Yeah.
probably like get stuck in that process analysis most of the time. But last thing I want to put I don't want to put myself in a position where like I would find a deal, and then again, unexpected happens, and like I don't have enough capital for it, and then I end up just kind of like putting myself in a tough spot where like I might have to lose that deal, or I might have to bleed a lot of money, right? Or I might have to kind of like dip into like other equities, and like just like other areas that I'm not expecting to kind of like dive into.
Hmm.
um I just don't want to put myself in that situation, because like I said, yeah, I'm an overthinker. So like I definitely want to have like enough capital before like, shopping for deals and stuff. So
Yeah, you don't want that pressure, that stress. It's
exactly.
not for everyone. And it's mostly like the reality is it's mostly in the flip game that you're doing a deal first acquisition. Buy and hold's more of like a strategic kind of chess move because it's a
Exactly.
long game. It's a lot more like chess than it is checkers. So when you're looking for capital partners, or rather, well, let's start with that. When you're looking for people to joint venture with you, have you done any joint ventures yet?
I have not done any joint ventures yet,
So have
unfortunately.
you thought about going down that route to grow your real estate portfolio?
I would like to. I would like to. And I've been trying to network and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like building up like my connections and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But like I said, right now, I think since I'm fairly small, I really wanna I feel like I have a lot more to learn myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once I get to a point where like, okay, like maybe I could like 10x this or 20x this, then maybe I could go on ahead and like do a joint venture or find a partner, kind of like loop them in some of the deals and stuff. So
Yeah. So you'd mentioned before the show that um, you're looking for more deals. What kind of deals are you looking for the people listening at home? Maybe you're a wholesaler, maybe you're another agent in the Chicago area. What are you looking for?
like I said, just cash flowing, any commercial unit 5 to 8. And I will also wouldn't mind like a 3 or 4 flat, the Berwyn Cicero area. If I had to go outside of that, then that's fine too. Um, I have to run the numbers myself because, like I said, like just over analyzing is kind of like in my genes. But yeah, like just any cash flowing properties, it's hard to even determine that. Like, and even if it's not cash flowing, if it's in a good area, it's gonna appreciate, and that put some equity, put some sweat equity in there. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's more of like a long game than kind of like refinance out and get your cash flow from there. So like basically like any deal right now that would yield me money kind of like in the long run, or if I have to hold it for just a few years, if I could flip it even, that's also something that I would like to explore. So
Awesome. Awesome. So when it comes down to growing your portfolio, are you burying these things right now? Are you flipping the money over? And how far, I guess, have you burned all of the stuff out and the money's ready to go? Or are you still in the process of burying any of the properties that you have now?
So right now I actually have a primary residence, but I used the burn method for my first one.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I when I purchased that 3 flat, I lived in the
Made
second
it
floor.
work. Yeah.
I lived in the second floor with my wife, and the basement needed a ton of work. First floor I was able to rent it out. Was able to offset some of the costs for the mortgage, and and fixed it. So got my personal loan, fixed up the second floor, and fixed up the basement. And we actually ended up moving into that basement and rented up the second floor. So now that I
Mm-hmm.
have the first and second floor, I was able to term refi it from a FHA to conventional. That was an investment property
Mm-hmm.
now. And we're able to kind of like repeat that process and take the money that I was able to refinance out because it was a cash out refi. Paid off the personal loan, and some of the leftovers we were able to put it on the next deal, which
Mm-hmm.
is the 4 flat in Berwyn. And glad that one, like I said, is a cash cow because I inherited tenants and they're great. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and now to this day I haven't had to like renew any of their leases. And yeah, we were actually fortunate enough, like we were in a good position to have like our own like primary residence now in Berwyn. And it sucks that I had to pay like a mortgage now. But like I said, we were able to just I feel like that was the end goal. We were able to put ourselves in a position where like, okay, we don't have to live with our tenants. We could actually just like get our own space and stuff. So
Yeah, you had to long-term gains at short-term sacrifices. So you moved from the second
exactly.
floor down into the basement for a little bit to be able to set yourself up for this current position. So good for you, man. That's
Yeah.
that's the dream. You're living the new American dream. So
Yes, definitely.
If people want to connect with you, they want to like send deals to you, or they want to work with you as a realtor, how do they find you? What should they do? How do they reach out?
So the best, so I don't check social media at all, social media at all. I have to do a better job with that. But the best way to reach me is through email.
Mhm.
The email is charles.yourbroker@gmail.com. It's literally just, your broker, YOUR broker@gmail.com. And I check my email every single day, because like I said, I'm a realtor as well, and I run deals all the time, or I underwrite deals all the time, I should say, for my clients as well, for other people that are trying to house hack and get into real estate investing. So
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I really appreciate being on the show, and I'm sure everyone got a lot of information out of that and some knowledge to start. Hopefully, this inspires people to get started, much as yourself, and do a little bit of short-term sacrifice for those long-term gains. Really appreciate it, Charles.
all right, thanks so much, Bryce.
Thank you, and we'll take you guys on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.